blocks or bricks. You can count the number of blocks or bricks to figure out how tall something is if you can't climb up there, which is certainly, these are like 14-foot columns. You're not going to climb up onto the ceiling. It's got a ladder without permission. So you can't do that. So you have to start figuring out how to sort of count things that you're seeing in the space. And then once you're on paper, you can start to use that technique of drawing X's through things or lightly to then project halfway points and third points and such. Another important consideration when doing a drawing like this is how much ceiling as opposed to how much floor is going to get into the drawing. And that has a lot to do with where you set your left and right vanishing points, how high. So if you set your vanishing points too high, you're probably going to, like up here, you're going to get way too much floor. If you set your vanishing point too low, you're probably going to get too much ceiling. And then it's sort of not a nice proportion. And the interesting thing about using like a classical space, like with columns and these Greek and Roman elements, is that the column itself is sort of a three-part thing with a foot, sort of like a body, a trunk, and a head. The capital, that's what the capital is. The capital of a column is. It's the head of the column. So you kind of want to do the same three-part proportioning in a drawing. It's just sort of what intuitively most people's minds' eyes find sort of like pleasing and balanced, is to like get a balance between the ceiling, sort of the space, and the floor in a drawing. And the same would happen if you were drawing a perspective outdoors, which I don't have an example right here. But you can do the same thing outdoors where there's trees and such. It's sort of how much sky do you get as opposed to how much ground, as opposed to how much trees and structures, something such as in a park. Yeah. So that's another thing to consider when you have a drawing. So when students have a drawing, you tend to find sometimes that you get a lot of sort of got too much ceiling in this first one, but did start to figure out where the columns were in this central space and proportioned that fairly well and got this wall in there and so forth. This is another student's drawing where she got the space roughed in even better as she went. And yeah, here's my diagram of, so for here we have Ionic columns. In this library, in the Montpelier City Hall, we have the Corinthian, which is sort of the fanciest order, the more florid with more scrolls and floral elements and such. And the simplest is the Doric, which is actually over there by the information desk. If you look over there, those are good examples of Doric columns. They're the simplest, most plain. Here, these drawings of, this is the hallway behind that main space in Montpelier where you have all these, we used all of these X's to figure out where the midpoints are and how things are getting smaller and vanishing as they go back from where you're sitting in the distance. So that helps in laying out when you have all these columns, this like long colonnade or pilasters, which are flat columns on a wall. That are probably hiding a structural column, how you can get them all on the page without running out of space is by making sure you carefully when you first start drawing. And this was also looking from the other direction in that City Hall view, where we're getting a deep look through the space and up to the second floor stairs where the first drawing that I made was from, and restructured the spaces that you can't see from within that space, which is an interesting thing that you can do with perspective drawing, where you know something's there but you can't see it in your view. You can sort of draw it in wireframe in sort of imaginary space that you can't really see. So there's an introduction to perspective. So these are the drawings from the Sebastian.
Громче так. Can
The
you
School of
do
Fine Arts.
louder?
In the name of Sebastian Kamrat, or is that that's this? In the Republic of Moldova, and they drew on the theme, the peace in the world, which is the theme of the current program that we have. I noticed that there's a group of them that have a nautical theme to them, where I think this student Evelina Bulgar has drawn, looks like probably her family as a group of mer people. I noticed there's a nautical theme to a bunch of them here. Katya, if you notice anything here. Well, here's a Katerina. Sure, cool.
So another thing that I noticed here is that like all the colors in this picture are very bright and happy, and peaceful also would go with that. And this, I don't know if it's a whale or a shark, but the eyes, if you look closer, are very happy and have like happy eyes and stuff. So it makes the entire picture seem very peaceful, because in the ocean there are animals that are pretty scary, but here everything is happy and friendly, and so it's also very peaceful to look at. And here are two dolphins that look like they're jumping towards each other as if like they were gonna hug each other or something. And so it's in the moonlight, and the colors of the picture are very like warm and like purple everywhere, so to look at it seems also very peaceful, because there's no indication that there's anything dangerous in the surrounding areas. And so it's very nice to look at these dolphins just being happy, and their eyes also, the same as the picture before, are also very happy and relaxed and peaceful.
This drawing looks like they're doing winter sports, maybe on a hill. Bunch of kids this time, probably. Yeah, it's not a.
It looks like they're having a lot of fun, and so that's probably a peaceful time when you have fun. And here it looks like there are two brothers or friends playing a game of softball, and their eyes and smiles are also very happy looking, and he looks like he's about to throw a ball and is having a lot of fun in the afternoon, because the sun is pretty low, so that's free time, peaceful time for children to do things.
And this one's she has a title, Luis Sierra. Yeah, First Lamb. So this is probably like a traditional agricultural theme from the countryside.
There's a herd.
Yeah.
And I
Sheep
think
dog.
those are sheep sleeping too, so that's...
Maybe.
Or they're sitting down, at least.
Yeah.
And
Just a moment. Nicola. Sean asked, why do you have the piece of wood across the drawing? Шон спрашивал, почему ты имеешь палочку?
Стрела, она всегда делит мир надвое.
Переводит.
Справа и слева. И рассматривать здесь надо через эту линию.
The arrow always divide the world into two sides, left and right. So you have this arrow to look through.
И так как мир имеет трещины сейчас в дискуссии, в образовании, в войне, то эта палочка имеет надлом в середине и перевязана проволочка,
Now that
как
the
крепка.
world has a lot of is shattered and in discussions and in politics and such, this arrow provides a visible difference between places, and thus that's why there's.
Ну и здесь игра, можно стоять и играть правую часть и левую часть.
You can play
Разговор.
on the right side or on the left side.
То есть в этом контексте вот здесь
In
ребенок
this
и
context,
взрослый,
there's a grown-up and a child.
заложены элемент игры, кто что говорит.
Put in our elements of what people say or do.
Ну и у меня еще раз, так как вопросы, то
I also have a lot of questions.
то я синоним. Вот, например, этой картине синоним
For example, in
пуля.
this picture there are
Что вы
synonyms.
видите в этой картине другое? Синоним пуля. Кто здесь пуля?
He is asking a synonym for bullet, and where the bullet is here in this picture.
Ну, Америка сейчас шлет снаряды, пули во все страны. То ли мы делаем, как американцы, можем ли мы дальше продолжать?
The United States send ammunitions to different countries.